How many games will the Carolina Panthers win in 2025? Welcome, Panthers fans, to your official record prediction and schedule preview for the 2025 Carolina Panthers. In this video, I go game by game, week by week, pick by pick, and answer the question: how much better will the Panthers become in 2025? Will they break out, or will they stay the same? Will the Panthers challenge the Buccaneers in 2025? Gronk, spike the like button and let me know in the comments, how many games do you think the Panthers will win this season? Let's check out the schedule and make some picks. Week 1, Carolina in Jacksonville, in perhaps the most confusing week 1 prediction of the entire slate. I don't know who's going to win this game, guys. I have no idea. I know I just said I would tell you how many games they're going to win. This game is tricky, man. You've got Bryce Young against Trevor Lawrence. Two quarterbacks that at times have played very well and at other times have not played very well. You have Liam Cohen, who ripped up the Panthers last year, against Dave Canales, two former Tampa Bay Buccaneer coordinators turned head coaches. What I like about this game for Carolina is the fact that Jacksonville will have a new coach. So there's a lot of new for Jacksonville. What I don't like is Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, and the potential of Jacksonville's passing game. I don't like that for the Panthers very much. I also don't like the fact that these are two of the worst defenses in the league that could be improved, but I have no idea. And I also don't like the fact it's in Jacksonville. If I had to make a prediction, I would lean Jacksonville for the simple case that it's early in the year. The game is in Jacksonville, which in week 1 of the season, there's going to be that humidity, that heat. The weather is going to be tough. And Jacksonville is going to be more acclimated to that. At the same time, I feel like Trevor Lawrence has more potential than Bryce to play a big-time game week 1. Jacksonville's fans are going to be very excited for Travis Hunter. So that's also another factor where they're going to be pumped. So I could see that atmosphere being pretty interesting as well. This one, though, like I said, it could go either way. This is an interchangeable. I just feel like Jacksonville will have a little bit more potency in that offensive side. So I'm going to go Jacksonville here. Week 2, I'm going to say Carolina upsets the Cardinals in Arizona, and I'm pretty sure they'll be an underdog. But Carolina did beat the Cardinals last year in overtime, and I could see something similar happening. I'm also going to be going to this game, actually. So I'll be cheering for the Panthers. I will say that. Maybe just a little bit. But I do think that this game's going to be fun. Could be back and forth. Pretty high scoring, I would expect. The Cardinals have one of the more balanced offenses in football. Kyler Murray at the beginning of the year is usually better than Kyler Murray at the end of the year. So there's that. Also, you've got two short kings going toe-to-toe, one-on-one with Bryce Young and Kyler Murray. And Bryce beat him the first time. Can he do it again? I think they're going to be able to attack that Cardinal secondary. I think that they're going to be able to block the Cardinals' new pass rush and make some plays down the field. Also, Carolina's run game was pretty effective against Zona last year. I think Carolina wins this game. Week 3, Panthers at home over the Falcons. They start 2-1. I think in their division, they're probably going to split with every team. They might be able to sweep the Saints, right? Because the Saints are really bad, but they're more than likely to split with every team in their division. The Falcons and the Panthers are the closest, in my opinion. I could see an argument for either one being better than the other. Bryce and Penix are both kind of variables and unknowns at quarterback. I think I lean towards Bryce for being a little bit better, but I'm not sure. The offensive lines are both good. Both teams have their weaponry that is solid, but not special, I would say. The Falcons have Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Darnell Mooney. The Panthers have T-Mac, Adam Thielen, Hubbard, Dowdle, right? They both have groups of weapons, but it's not like outrageous. Then defensively, they're both flawed. I think the Falcons may be a little bit more talented, but the Panthers might be a little bit, more well coached. So I think it's pretty even. The Panthers in Carolina, though, I think should take this game. When you look at the ability to beat the Falcons, it's going to come down to, can you stop them from running the ball? Honestly. Because if the Panthers can't do that this year, they're not going to beat the Falcons. That's kind of what it comes down to. Week 4, I'm going to go with my Patriots over the Panthers for no other reason than if they lose to the Panthers, I'll have to hear from Brett for an entire season. Brett is my friend. He's a Panthers fan. I'm a Patriots fan. But being real, though, I think that the Panthers are going to lose to Drake May because Drake May grew up a Panthers fan, North Carolina kid. He's not going to lose to his favorite team at home. He's not. And Mike Vrabel, I think the Patriots are legit. Their defense is a lot better than Carolina's on paper. Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis, Milton Williams, Christian Barmore up front. And then offensively, Patriots have tried their best to improve. We'll see how much they improve, but I really am a big Drake May guy and believer. And I believe in New England, it's going to be a challenge for Carolina to win that game. Week 5, Miami at the Panthers. This one is tricky, and this is kind of like the Falcons, the Jacksonville, and Cardinals game. It could go either way. I think if they beat the Cardinals, they'll lose to the Dolphins. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins here. The Dolphins are tricky because their offense is extremely explosive. And my problem with Carolina is I don't know if they'll have the answers for that. Their safeties aren't great. Their corners beyond JC are a little suspect. Their pass rush is not really going to be able to get after Tua in the effective manner that I would like. So I just think it's going to become a shootout against one of the fastest teams in the NFL and Mike McDaniel. And I just think that's a problem. So unless Carolina totally gets some crazy pressure on Tua or some mistakes from Tua or Tua's hurt or the other side of the ball, Carolina possesses, which I don't know if they'll be able to against the Dolphins front. I just think Miami is a challenging matchup for Carolina. And it's not like Carolina is going to be like windy or snowy or rainy where like the Dolphins are soft. So I think the Dolphins will win that game. Week 6, I'm going to go Dallas over Carolina for the simple fact of kind of like combining what I said about Miami. I think that the Dallas Cowboys in the passing game are very good. When you look at Dak Prescott, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson, they're flawed in the run game on both sides. They can be ran on, which Carolina has a chance to move the ball against them. But then you're talking about blocking that pass rush of the Cowboys. The Cowboys secondary is good. Like, the Cowboys are a very one-dimensional team. They're good in the pass game. They're bad in the run game on both sides. And I think Dallas is just going to be able to outscore Carolina, and then their defense is going to be able to make more plays in the passing game than the Panthers will. So that's why I'm going to go with Dallas there. Week 7, that's at the Jets. This could be a potential loss, but I'm going to take Carolina. Depends on the weather for me. If Bryce is in bad weather, I think that evens the playing field at quarterback, but I'm going to be simple here. I'm going to take Bryce over Justin Fields. Justin Fields is not very good. The Jets defense is pretty good, right? Still pretty good, but I don't trust Aaron Glenn either. I think Canales can definitely outcoach him. So between the quarterback and the coaching combinations, I lean heavily towards Carolina. I also like the Carolina infrastructure of their offensive line a lot better than the Jets. I think the Jets will be very inconsistent and just bad in general. Week 8, the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm sorry. They have Josh Allen. I don't have to say anything else. But for real, I just don't think the Panthers are on the Bills level. This is one of those games that could be like a sleeper type of trap game for the Bills, because I think at this point in the schedule, there's trap game potential. I think the Bills might even be coming off a bye or something like that, or like they have a big game the next week. I think it might be the Chiefs game that they play the week following. So it's like Buffalo will be in a look ahead type of spot. So this could be a game where you want to take the Panthers on the spread, but the Bills ultimately pull it out. Like Josh Allen just makes too many plays. as I kick my camera. And that's ultimately the difference. So, I think it will be actually kind of close and competitive, especially if the Panthers can be physical enough, run the football well enough, possess the ball against Buffalo's defense. And then that kind of puts Josh into superhero mode, but I think he'll be capable of getting that done against the Panthers defense. Week 9, the Packers in Green Bay is going to be very tough on Bryce. I think the Packers will win. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Panthers rather beat the Panthers beat the Packers before the last 2 years, or it was very close. Like, I remember Bryce having a very good game. The Packers defense is very exposable in the back end if you can block them, and I think the Panthers can do that. But at the same time, the Packers have a very good coach in Matt LaFleur. They are excellent at being balanced on offense. And I think that's going to provide a lot of issues for the Panthers, especially on the road. And if this is potentially like a colder game, I think that definitely hurts the Panthers. Then in week 10, Saints at Panthers. I'm going to take the Saints to beat the Panthers once this year, so it doesn't really matter where you put it, but I'll take the Panthers to win week 15 after the bye because they're going to have more preparation time, adjustment time. And meanwhile, the Panthers, they're kind of going downhill here. They've lost to the Bills in a tight, close game. That kind of hurt their spirits. Then they lost the Packers in Green Bay. They got to go back home, play the Saints, a rival. Tyler Shuck is a complete unknown. The Saints do have a pretty poor secondary, but is Carolina going to be able to take advantage of that? The Saints do have a lot of veterans on defense. They do have a good offensive supporting cast around their young quarterback that might be capable of stealing a game. Week 11, I'm going to go Falcons over Panthers in Atlanta because I picked the Panthers to win at home. Just being simple there. I think the Falcons, overall, like I said, they're very balanced teams. Like, they're very close and competitive. The Falcons, we'll see how good Michael Penix is. Maybe he's a guy that gets better and better and better as the year goes on. I do think that both teams have good offensive lines. Both teams are capable of running the ball. This one's going to be in a dome. I do think that helps the defense of the Falcons. I do think that's going to help them get some stops, get some turnovers. They do have big-time playmakers like Jesse Bates to be able to make those plays and difference-making plays. So I think the Falcons can steal one there. Then in week 12, this is going to be the Christian McCaffrey Bowl. I'm going to go Niners at home on a Monday night. I've been in San Francisco for a primetime game. It's a tough atmosphere to be in. I think San Francisco rises to the occasion, and they probably beat the Niners. Not senseless, but pretty good. I would be shocked if the Panthers had enough to go toe-to-toe with the Niners. I do think the Niners will have a bounce-back season. Brock Purdy proving that he's worth that contract, but when you look at that offense, it's really tough to defend when they're fully healthy. Kittle, Ayuk, Jennings, Pearsall, McCaffrey, Shanahan's play calling. And then defensively, I think by this point, they're going to be well constructed under Robert Saleh, and they'll have a plan to be able to attack Bryce Young. I don't think the Panthers really truly are dominant enough in the run game to just give the Niners fits. So I think that the Niners should win this game. Then in week 13, I'll go with the Rams to beat the Panthers. They're just the better team with the better quarterback and the better coach. Not going to try to overcomplicate that. Better team, better quarterback, better coach, devastating pass rush. The Rams are going to be legit. Then they go into the bye, and like I said, that helps them beat the Saints the second time around. I think they'll actually go on a bit of a run here at the end of the year where they beat the Bucs at home. They beat the Seahawks at home in a Sam Darnold revenge game, potentially. But the Seahawks, I think, are going to struggle on the road because their offensive line is pretty bad, and it's Derek Brown against a bad interior. I think that should help the Panthers. Also, their receivers aren't very explosive. The Bucs, I just think we've seen those games last year. Canales, he's going to have that familiarity with the offense, familiarity with Baker, familiarity with the roster, especially the offense. And I feel like the Panthers played the Bucs really well last year. They should have beat them in Carolina. I think they'll beat them this year in Carolina. And then in week 18, I'm going to take Tampa in Tampa because I think they might need that game potentially. But if they don't, then hey, we could give it to Carolina. Actually, the way that I have the records going right now, I could actually give this game to the Panthers. because I think the Bucs I don't even think they'll need it. But in case they do need it, I would pick the Bucs if they straight up play. But if they don't and they start like Kyle Trask, I'll put the Panthers there as the winner. So basically where I'm at is between 6-11 and 7-10. That's where I'm at for the Panthers. I know it's not promising. I know it's not what you want to hear, but that's kind of what I think. There's a lot of either way games on this schedule, though, which makes me a little concerned about my prediction. Jacksonville is a game that is winnable, right? Cardinals is a losable game. Patriots is a winnable, but probably tough game. Dolphins is a winnable game. Cowboys is a winnable game. Will they lose both of those? I'm not sure. That being said, I don't really have the Panthers beating anyone that they shouldn't beat. And that might be my problem with my prediction, is I have usually some upsets. I guess they're beating Tampa, but I mean, that's a division rival. So can the Panthers surprise me and beat Buffalo or beat Green Bay or beat San Francisco or LA? Honestly, there are not a lot of teams on here that are amazing. There's a lot of decent teams, which gives the Panthers a chance to climb the standings. So honestly, 7-10 probably feels more accurate. Maybe even 8-9 at their best, 9-8 at their best, 8-9. I'm uncertain about the defense and how much better it is. I'm uncertain about Bryce's progression, and I'm uncertain about just the overall roster, coaching staff. It just feels very mediocre. But you guys let me know if I'm mistaken in the chat. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm open to hear your guys' debate. Thanks for watching. Gronk spiked the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It's Mitch, and we'll see you in the next record prediction video. Peace.